Alright, here we are with the Week 1 preview for the 2025 NFL season. Cowboy game, Eagle game, they played last night. I'm not overly shocked with what happened, nor am I going to overreact. CeeDee Lamb popped off. Pickens could have had a long ball, but got held by Quinyon Mitchell. I don't think he would have scored. I mean, if he didn't get held, maybe he would have kept his balance after the catch. But Pickens, I'm not worried about. It was one game. Devontae and A.J. Brown on the other side of the ball, not worried about. They just wanted to get second and manageable, and they knew they couldn't really be stopped at that point. They'll probably convert, 8 times out of 10, if not more. So they threw to, who was it, their tight end? Dallas Goedert, 7 times, and he caught everything. They were second and manageable. They could run all the time like they did with Jalen and Saquon. Combined for I think 31 rushes. Pardon me, 32. So, I'm not worried about it. They had a game plan, and they didn't really have to throw because they didn't really have a lot of pressure on Jalen. Like, they got 1 sack on him, but that didn't mean anything. That meant, it meant nothing. So they couldn't really generate pressure on him. He could run the ball, as you can see, 14 attempts, 62 yards, 2 tutties. Jahan, not worth talking about. I wish they showed targets on here. I don't know why it ain't. But, Devontae, 3 for 3 for targets and receptions. A.J. Brown, 1 for 1. Maybe both of them were used kind of just as main attractions to kind of get the underneath in the middle with Goddard free. And they could just run with Saquon and Jalen. Could scramble if he wanted to, and he did plenty. So if you had Jalen, you're happy. Saquon, you're definitely, you're happy as well with the 20 piece. But Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, don't worry about them. I mean, maybe against teams that don't have a pass rush, yeah. Truth be told, you might have to worry about them because what happened tonight will probably happen again. Well, it will for sure, but maybe not to the degree where both of them are locked down or shut down. I wouldn't panic. If you have an opportunity to buy A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith, I would. Or George Pickens too, I would, for sure. For sure. So, I'm not worried about any of the players you end up drafting. It's week 1. A bunch of fuck shit be happening week 1 all the time anyway. So, just gotta move on. Alright. Next we have Chiefs and the Chargers playing. Nope, it's not really what I want. What do we do? See if this will work a little bit better. Where's NFL?
NFL Prime Time, exclusively.
I'm trying to see if it'll kind of do a little bit better job. Nope, not really. Then why don't we do this? We'll do... whatever. We're just going to go with it. We're just going to go with it. Chiefs and Chargers, if you have players like Patty, you're going to start Herbert. Herbert was in 50-50. I don't know how I feel about him. Not bad. We don't know anything about the, the turf over there, or, the field, rather. If it got fixed, improved, maybe not, we don't know. But if not, then fire up any offensive players, and they're probably going to pan out pretty well for you. But, yeah, I like Hampton if you have him. Chiefs defense really good against the run, so a little bit of a worry, but not too bad. So what do I do? Because I actually do kind of want to do this. This might be a little bit better. Yeah, it'll kind of show who you got. So, Hampton, you're playing. Pacheco. 50-50. I mean, I don't mind the play. I think he will be kind of back to form from a couple years ago, or even before the injury last year, which was only like a game and a half, a game and 3/4. But he looked good. He looked angry. Preseason looking better. So again, they end up rushing him back. So we can't really do too much about that. It's unfortunate, but they end up rushing him back. It was an ankle injury too, which is really, really bad for running backs. Yeah, Pacheco, I would probably play. You know, if you got guys like Worthy, you're playing, Lad McConkey, you're playing, any other Sandy or the Charger wideouts, I would avoid. Hollywood Brown, I don't mind at all. I think he's a good play, truth be told, with being the third read out there, probably behind Worthy and Kelsey. I like Hollywood a lot. Again, especially with the field. If we don't know, but if the field isn't really improved, then Hollywood should be great. But play them with confidence. Kelsey, you're gonna play. You're not gonna play any tight end from the Chargers. So Mayfield and Penix battling in Tampa versus Atlanta. If you have them, you're gonna play them both. Both have pretty good matchups coming into the week. I'm not overly worried about them. With Tristan Wirfs being injured, I believe he isn't going to be playing. Godwin's out. McMillan out. Cade Otton is questionable, but it's looking like he'll be out as well. Even then, I'm not really worried about them. I think Baker will be okay. Atlanta does have an improved defense with the two edge rushers, James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker from Georgia. So TBD on how they do. We don't know, but yeah, I think Tampa should still be good to go. Not really worried about them. Bucky, if you have him. Bijan, you're playing both of them, obviously. Rashad White is if you're in a really deep league, but otherwise you're not playing him at all. Mike Evans, you have to play. Drake London, you have to play. They could both put up 30 a pop, for sure. And I wouldn't be shocked at all. Igbuka, if you have him, you're playing him. He's going to be the second read. Unless Rashad White ends up being the second read, but I don't think that'll happen. At least I hope not, as a big Igbuka truther. Darnell Mooney, if you have him, he has been injured a little bit, so I think he will be playing. Questionable, man, oh man. If you have Mooney, you can play him, but I would be careful. I might look for other options. With the shoulder injury coming into the game. If he doesn't end up playing, then you know what? I'd probably play Kyle Pitts. Like, they need another look. It could be Ray, right? It could be Ray McLeod. Bijan could get a little more looks in the backfield, but Kyle Pitts played well against him both games last year. One of them was the tight end week, which is when he had the 2 touchdowns, right? 5'4", 91, and 2 tutties. It was tight end week. Pretty much all the tight ends popped off in the league, funny enough. He's had games, but just not a lot of looks with Penix under the helm. You can play him again, but yeah, I would only play him if Darnell Mooney's out. If not, then I don't think you should play Pitts. Again, fantasy is a game about probability, I feel, and what'll be most likely to happen will usually dictate how we put in and set up our lineup. If you have Cade Otton, even if Cade ends up playing, I wouldn't play him. No Godwin, no McMillan, but the Godwin replacement is Igbuka. Otton will probably be the fourth look, fifth look rather, fourth or fifth. Mike Evans, Igbuka, Rashad White, then maybe Bucky, maybe Cade for the fourth. I don't have confidence, but all the other players I'd play. No defense, but I play in this game. Bengals and Cleveland. Looking like to be a little bit windy. I always enjoy looking at the weather to kind of help me out. Has it really helped me out? No, it's probably hurt me a little more. But showers, not looking likely, a little windy. Yeah, showers just really, really unlikely. So mainly just windy. The gusts aren't too much worse. So at Cleveland, if you have Burrow, you're playing him. Flacco, I like for a start. Really, I mean, mainly for like a super flex league. You know, you probably have better options that you want to play week 1 in a 1 quarterback league. But yeah, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind the play at all. Chase Brown, if you got him, you're playing him. No other running back would you play. For Cleveland, I like Jerome Ford. Even if Quinshaw ends up getting a deal done, Quinshawn Judkins, I'm not worried about entering the season for week 1. Dylan Sampson has been getting some hype, but usually what we see is the veterans usually get the nod early on in the year, and I think that'll be what they do for Jerome Ford, especially after taking a pay cut to come back to Cleveland. They got to show some loyalty back to him. No, I would hope they would. And Bengals, terrible defense. So Jerome Ford, I'm playing with full confidence. I like him a lot. I really do like him. I should do probably like rankings for each player, but whatever. Jamar, T. Higgins, you're playing both of them. You have to. You don't have to. If you could sit T, wouldn't be a terrible option. But you drafted him with full confidence. When he's out there, he's usually pretty damn good. So you play him. Judy, you play him. For sure. Any other guy? I'm not really looking toward any other Cleveland wideout. I mean, could something happen with Tillman? Sure. Or, Jamari Thrash? Sure. But I'm not playing them. I'd rather have other options. And if you have Njoku, you're playing him all day long. All day long, baby. You're playing him. And no Bengal tight end are you playing. And no defense either. So, Miami and Indiana. Oh my gosh, man, this game. I really feel like this game could be the highest scoring game of the week. Well, no. I would say top 5. There's only 16 of them, so not really a hot take. Okay, I'll say top 3. I'll kind of meet in the middle there. Top 3. Miami is banged up like a motherfucker on defense for their cornerbacks. They're really banged up and they're injured, and I mean, that should be great for Daniel Jones. Like, Miami has a really good front 4. I don't know about front 7 off the top of my head, but front 4 is great. Probably top 5 in the league, maybe even top 3. They're damn good. Indiana end up losing Will Fries and their center, I think, both to the Vikings, if I'm not wrong. So a little bit worrying there, but low key, that might bode better for Danny, because he might have to scramble a little more than what people realize if Miami can generate that pressure. And he's quick. He's not as slow. He's not a slow white boy. He's quick as shit. So truth be told, in a super flex, I'd have full confidence in Daniel Jones. I might even I bench Dak. I have Drake May on my bench starting for my quarterback, but I might drop like Jaden Higgins, who I feel it's kind of like a wasted pick on my end. Even with Christian Kirk out for week 1, just Jaden Higgins is a tough call because they have no offensive line over there, and I don't know how the offense will work. Which is why Nico might be a little not live up to the hype that people are giving him. Nico was great. We all know that. But if they can't block for CJ, then the deep bombs aren't really gonna be there too often. He won't have enough time. He'll have to scramble and throw underneath to Kirk, or if they have Woody Marks out there, Pierce out there, which I think they should have more than Chubb. I love Chubb as a Georgia fan, but he's had 2 injuries like that, just killed him, and I hate it. But Tua, you're playing. Their offensive line is banged up. which could be good, could be bad, because their running game probably shouldn't be going, which it usually isn't a huge focal point anyway. But Achane can run. He's really good at that from what we've seen in that offensive style. But without an offensive line, they might have to throw the ball more. No more Jonnu. So I think Achane you definitely play. JT, honestly, JT I wouldn't play. I mean, you have to because you drafted him there. But I would put my chips on. He's not gonna return his projected points. I think he'll finish under by 4 or 5. Like what is he projected? 17, 18? Yeah, 17 1. So yeah, so 18. I think he'll finish with 12 to 14. And I feel like that'll be with a touchdown included. Like, I think Miami's going to be able to shut him down pretty well. And again, because of the cornerbacks being so banged up for Miami, Indiana will be able to throw the ball more than what people think, or more than what people have faith in Danny Dimes to be able to accomplish. So JT, if you have him, you're playing him, but he'll probably end up being, I'll probably do like a sit start video, but JT I'd rather have other players over him. If I can. But yeah, if you got him, you're playing him. Achane, you're playing. Tyreek Hill, couldn't tell you, man. I wouldn't play him just because of the oblique injury, and Tua might need a little bit more time to uncork. But who knows? Maybe they just have Tyreek streak it every time, and eventually one play Tua will have enough time to get his feet underneath him, cock back the shoulder, and let her loose. But Tyreek, I'm not playing if I can. If you're in a deeper league, you have to. Even if you drafted him high, I don't like the matchup a whole lot. Not that Indiana's great, but they're not a bad defense by any means, and it's just tough. With the oblique injury, his overall win rate against man zone, I feel all that kind of went down last year. Well, it did. I don't know the exact numbers, but just feel like it'd be too tough to play him week 1. I'd rather play Jalen Waddle over him. I'd play Jalen Waddle, with full confidence. Josh Downs I love this week. Again, the cornerback's injured, not going to be out there. I think he would be a big focal point. Michael Pittman, I don't mind at all. I really don't mind Pittman at all. I think he's being undervalued because of the Tyler Warren hype train, which is more than warranted. No pun intended. But Pittman I like a lot this week too as your flex play. I mean, yeah, for sure. I'd play him for sure. Especially with Downs just now coming back after the hammy injury. We don't know what it'll look like. We don't know how healthy he actually is entering the game. So Downs I'm a little pessimistic on entering the game, but Pittman I like a lot. I have full confidence playing him if you're wide out 3 or a flex position. I think you have really, really good upside there. Really good upside. Then tight ends, if you have Waller, no. If you have Tyler Warren, you're happy that you have him probably, but temper your expectations. Again, Miami has a really good front 4. Indiana's O-line's a little bit worse, losing 2 of their 5 offensive starters in free agency. I don't know who they replenished with, so it's probably my fault for being ignorant on the topic. But I think they have Warren chip more often than what people think, rather than running actual routes. So I think his receiving upside to hit more than 50 yards is pretty unlikely because of that. I think he'll be more of a shallow underneath guy that will hopefully get you a touchdown. 5 catches, 40 something yards and a touchdown. You should be very happy with that. But I don't think he'll get more than 55, 60 yards through the air. I think he'll get under that. I feel like 40 was too low. Because again, their corners are banged up, and not that it would really affect Warren. it'd affect more so Downs and Pickman for the better. But maybe they try to play a little more of a zone or more of a preventive, pardon me, defense, which would favor Josh Downs if they have him in the slot like they should, or Tyler Warren, who will probably settle underneath, kind of on the zone after chipping, which I think will happen. So Warren, I like, full confidence. Temper your expectations. I know you're happy you got him, but I'd rather play like Mark Andrews over him. Tucker Kraft. Ooh, I don't know about Tucker Kraft. We'll get into that game in a bit. But we got Carolina and Jacksonville. Oh, by the way, I wouldn't play any defense from there. Carolina and Jacksonville. I think this game could be number 1 overall for the week in terms of overall scoring. Both bad defenses. Jacksonville didn't really add anybody in the offseason. Not like they have a defensive-minded head coach or anything. I don't know who the coordinator is. Again, my bad for being ignorant on that topic, but yeah, I just don't really like either defense. Carolina did upgrade during the offseason, but I don't think it'd be enough to make a huge dent. More so for like the running game, but their passing game is still going to be probably pretty shite. Other than, was it J.C. Horn who they re-signed? It's like a 4-year, $100 million contract. Well earned. He's a damn good cornerback, but and they got Michael Jackson. They either re-signed him or they end up signing him free agency, which is a good pick. We all love Mike. But yeah, I'm not really worried about either defense here entering the year. Both offensive-minded head coaches, young quarterbacks, looking to show why they were drafted so highly, especially T-Law, man. He hasn't produced much of anything during his career for being, a top pick. Bryce Young, too, with being benched all the time and not playing well up until the final half of last year. After coming back from being benched, he finally began to play pretty well. Good matchups, definitely helped out. But, yeah, if you have Bryce Young or T-Law in a super flex, play him. Even T-Law, I'm contemplating on dropping Jaden Higgins for him. Or Danny Dimes. I feel like they have a higher ceiling than a guy like Drake May, who I like a lot. But I just don't know how much New England's really going to have to score against, the Raiders. I think New England's going to shut them down to under 10 points, under 13. I'll go with 13. I'll go with 13 to be a little bit more conservative, but the New England defense is going to be much improved entering the year, healthier as well. They got Vrabel, defensive-minded head coach. Yeah, it could take time for them to get there, but I think they're going to be a top 8 defense this year overall. I wouldn't be shocked if top 5. I mean, really. But T-Law, Bryce Young, like them both. If you have them for a super flex or even one quarterback league, if you have a quarterback who you're a little iffy on about week 1, I'd have no problem playing either of them. Chuba Hubbard, Etienne, Dowdle, Bigsby, Tuden. I'm iffy on all of them. I don't even know if I'd want to play any of them. If you have better options, go for that. Hubbard, you're going to play because of him being the main, bell cow back in the backfield, but Dowdle will take away the receiving work that Hubbard got last year. So his upside won't be there as much anymore, I don't think. If you play in like a half-point PPR, you won't really feel it as much. Full point, you will. Etienne, Bigsby, Tuden, who's going to get the main tote early on? I think Etienne. So Etienne, I don't mind you playing him, but again, Carolina's rushing defense got a boost. So I think I wouldn't play any of them. If I had to pick one, Etienne. If I had Bigsby or Tuden on my team, I'm not playing either of them because Etienne can pass catch. Pardon me. If you have funny enough, I got them both. Ted McMillan and Brian Thomas. If you got them, play them both with full confidence for sure. Xavier Legette, I actually like a lot too. I feel like he's not a dart throw at all in what is projected to be a high scoring game. Again, it's week 1. A bunch of fuck shit be happening. We have to say, we have to tell ourselves not to overreact to week 1 because of like what ends up happening. Like who you think will pop off normally doesn't. Funny enough. But I wouldn't be, shocked if Leggett end up having more, I guess, fantasy points than Ted McMillan after the game. Renfro, I'm not touching, but Leggett I actually like a lot. If they have him in the flanker role like they should, he'll be kind of what they wanted him to be out of South Carolina. Now with McMillan as who should be the main X pretty much all the time, playing the Mike Evans role in a Dave Canales offense. But I like them both. Dude, the Jaguars only have 3 guys. Oh my god. I mean, I know they have more, but BTJ would be the only one I'm playing. Tough to trust any other guy. Other than Travis Hunter. But they put him on a snap count they said they were going to do entering the year. I think they meant that for offense. Maybe I can find it. Nope, doesn't really say nothing there. Okay, well, fair play, I guess. But yeah, Hunter I'd play as well. Just temper your expectations, but I mean, if you drafted him, you're probably gonna play him, unless you have guys who you drafted later on, like Igbuka on your team, or Pearsall, or Olave. If you went after Hunter, Rome. If you went after Hunter. Guys like that, I would play over him. Just because they're going to be on the field more often. But wouldn't pick any defense from here. All right, the Raiders. I don't really like any of them. You're going to play Genty. You're going to play Bowers. No wideout would I play. If you have to, sure, Jacoby. But, I'm not happy about it. Gino, I'm not playing. Even in the super flex, I'd prefer not to. Drake May, if you got him, it's kind of 50-50 because, again, their defense will shut them down. If they're on your waiver wire, pick up New England defense. I think they're going to have a great opening game, especially being home, too. Especially being home, that will usually help out. But Henderson as well, I just think their ceiling will be capped. I feel like they have a fine floor, like Drake May can run. They have a fine floor for sure. A little bit of upgraded offensive line as well will help out. But I think Ramondre will get more touches than what people will like. Again, that'll happen with the veteran getting kind of the nod over the rook and it taking a little bit of time. But if Stevenson does have a fumbling problem, the moment it happens, Henderson will bump up to that 65% share. Which is what you want. You don't want him playing 80-85. It'd be great for short term, but for long term, you want him there for the whole season, and he usually can't last a whole year if he is the main bell cow back. He has to have time off on the sideline. So Henderson, play, but temper your expectations. Genty, you're going to play, temper your expectations. Everybody, temper your expectations for everybody in this game because we don't know how it'll unfold. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. Just because of the New England defense, it will be so good that they're going to mainly have to run the ball if they want to do anything on offense. And if Ramondre doesn't fumble, then he'll probably get the bulk of the carries. New England defense, I love. Arizona, New Orleans. New Orleans, you only play Kamara. I wouldn't even play Olave. Until we see how they end up moving him and how that offense ends up looking, I don't think I'd even play him. If you have better options, please pick him. I'd rather play Leggett over Olave. I really would. Like, the Arizona defense is actually not that bad. And they got, 3 guys. They got Josh Sweat from Philly, who I think was more kind of a byproduct of that defensive line. I feel like a lot of players were. But, we saw what he did in the Super Bowl, which kind of inflated him. So, I don't think he'll live up to the hype. I think he'll be fine. But then you got Walter Nolan from the draft from Ole Miss, D-tackle. Yeah, because Prince, it was the D end. And then Will Johnson in the draft. And I don't know who their main cornerback is. Could be Will. But I don't know. I'm not playing Olave if I don't have to. I'm not playing him. Like, yeah, they're gonna have to run the ball a lot, but I think Rattler will be under pressure. And if you're playing full point PPR, okay, you can play Olave. Half point though, you're banking on a tutty to kind of return value or get the projected points. It's only 13.5, but man, it's a tough one. James Conner, play him. Oh my God, play him. Kyler Murray, you're gonna play him. Kyler temper a little bit because of how bad New Orleans is against the run for running backs. I don't know about quarterbacks, but I mean Murray should run the ball pretty well too. Like what we saw last night with Jalen and Saquon, no pass rush, no real good like running defense, and they were able to run all over them. So I think it'll happen here. I think Murray could have a Jalen Hurts kind of game too. It'll be one of the two. I bank on Connor because of the goal line work should be all his, but we'll find out. Marv, play him. Good matchup, even if they're going to be ahead the whole time. I mean, you're playing Marv, you're playing McBride. If I have other options over Marv, like if I had between Marv or Tet, I'd play Tet. If I had between Marv or Judy. No, I'd still probably play Marv over Judy. Xavier Worthy or Marv, I'd play Worthy. Josh Downs even, I think I'd play over Marv. Just because I know he will get looks and touches, but because they're going to be able to do that. And not to say that they won't against New Orleans, but I just don't know if they're really going to have to throw the ball a whole lot. I think they're going to be able to mainly run, and Trey McBride should eat. So I do think one of the two between McBride and Harrison, you're probably going to play them both. But Harrison, if I have other options, I'm benching him. But I love the Arizona defense. Probably my favorite one this week, especially for DFS. I'm going to try to crank through these a little bit quicker. I've only talked about a few of them, and I'm just yapping. Pittsburgh Jets. I like both defenses. You can play them both. Don't like either quarterback. Don't like any running backs. Don't like any wideouts. Boom. Don't like any tight ends. Boom. I mean, Garrett Wilson, I'm not thrilled about. DK Metcalf, I'm not thrilled about. I don't care that they're going to be the number one look on their team. Just not the greatest of matchups. And I just don't have a lot of faith in either of them. Metcalf being shadowed by Sauce. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. Unless Rodgers ends up hitting him on a dot on the outside streak, which could happen. But it'll be, a big play will only be the saving grace for DK Metcalf. Wilson, he'll have to get peppered 18 targets, and hopefully he'll catch 7 of them for 50-something yards, and you'll take it in a full point PPR. Giants and Washington. I'm not playing either defense. I like the Giants for season long, but it's pretty tough here, truth be told. Wilson, I'm not playing. Daniels, you are playing. I don't like any running back for the Giants. If you have Tracy, you really need a running back, sure, but I don't want to play him. Eckler, you're playing. Not for the running game, but for the catching up side. But even then, low key, I would temper my expectations on Eckler because of Fat Debo. I don't like Fat Debo year long, but this week they're probably gonna, Cliff Kingsbury, great offensive mind from what we've seen. I think they're gonna manufacture touches for Debo, and with McLaurin just now coming back, we see what happens all the time. These guys hold out for training camp or preseason for a better contract, but they don't perform as well as what you'd like them to. And I think it'll happen to McLaurin. You're going to play him anyway, but I think if you have Debo, you play Debo this week. I do like him a lot while he is healthy, which could blow up at any point, but I like Debo here. After that, Malik, you're going to be playing no other guy, no tight end on either side. I don't mind Ertz, but I think he'll be chipping a lot to help out. They have Tunsil, but and they got Josh Connerly as well from Oregon, so their tackles, I think, because Connerly was a tackle. But even then, That Giants front four is fucking brutal, man. Probably best in the league. Filthy. So Ertz, I think, is a fine play, but you're banking on a goal line touchdown, or him chipping and getting a lot of underneath work. But again, that could be Debo as well, instead of getting the underneath work. So I think they might. I think Debo will bite into what Ertz could have done entering the game if they didn't have him. But he's a dart throw tight end. If you're really like, if you have Loveland, I'd rather play Ertz all day long. But then you got Tennessee, Denver. I'm not playing anybody on Tennessee. Don't care. Ridley will be shadowed by PS2. Nope. Playing Chig. I don't mind him. I like him season long because they are gonna have to throw. But I'm not excited about him. Lockett, TBD. We'll find out what he can do. Pollard will get the main bulk of the touches, but when they're going to be worth 2.8 yards per rush, I'm not thrilled about it. You're going to be banking on a touchdown or a lot of catches for him to return any type of value that you're hoping for, being the number one guy now. I like a lot. Like, I'll talk about it more in the future videos, but Pollard, this might be kind of tough against the Rams. I'd play him anyway, but Indy, I'd play him. Houston. Okay, so kind of tough. But because of him being the main bell call back, you can have confidence for him being your RB2. Harvey, nope, I'm not playing. I don't think. I have other options I'd prefer. I'd prefer playing them over him. Dobbins, I'd play. They're going to give the nod to the veteran, and he'll end up playing that role. Week 1. Bo Nix I'm playing, but temper your expectations. I don't think he'll do a lot unless he ends up getting, a rushing touchdown. But Sutton is going to be shadowed by Ladarius Sneed, I think. I might have got that name wrong, but I don't like Cortland either this week. I don't care where you drafted him. I'm not playing him. I'm not really playing any Denver guy or anybody from that team other than Dobbins and their defense and Bo Nix. But again, temper your expectations. If you have Cortland, you're probably going to play him anyway, but I'd prefer other guys. Like, I'd rather have Rome, Travis Hunter, Pearsall, like Buka. Who's the other guy? I'd rather play Olave over the Sutton as well. There's another name that usually goes later on. I can't think of it. Maybe later. But Denver defense, I'm playing all day long. 49ers in Seattle. I'm not playing anybody from Seattle other than Walker. Don't care about JSN. I don't know how they're going to line him up. If you watch my other video talking about I don't like JSN or Cup for their ADP, wait and see. Because I don't know what it'll look like, how they line up. They have 4 tight ends and 2 fullbacks on the team, so they're going to want to run the ball, which would be a lot different than the pass-heavy approach. The talent is there for JSN. We all know that. But the situation has got terrible for him, man. A downgrade at quarterback who can't deal well with pressure. He can scramble. Darnold can scramble. I'm not going to say he can't, because he can. But I mean, if they do have 3 wideout sets with, Horton out there, whoever's in the slot will probably have more value between Cup and JSN, but Cup can only win on the inside now. He can't do anything on the outside. And JSN is a big slot guy. He can win on the outside, but not nearly as well. So, I don't like any of them other than K9 on that team. 49ers, yeah, Purdy, you're playing him. McCaffrey, you're playing him. Pearsall, you're playing him. Juwan, nope. Kittle, you're playing him. I'm not playing any defense. Lions and Packers. Man. Monty, no. Jameer, yes. Goff. I'd play Goff. Jordan Love, no. Lions defense is fully healthy entering the year unless they all get banged up again. Game 1 here. I don't think it'll happen, but our defense, I think, got even better, like on paper, because they got a cornerback who was really good. I forgot where from. But they got a cornerback, so I worry about that entire Green Bay offense. Like I would only play Josh Jacobs if I could. I like Tucker Kraft. Laporta, but here, I'll just go back up. Jameer, yeah. Monty, no. Jacobs, yeah. Amon-Ra, J-Mo, yes, but temper your expectations for them. Golden, temper, but maybe. Dobbs, not a bad dart throw. He's like another really good dart throw. He's probably on on your waiver wire. I actually like him here. They have no Reed. Even if he does end up playing, he is playing under pain, so no thank you. And Golden's a rookie. He might have a tough time week 1. He probably will. So I would not have confidence in Romeo, but as a dart throw, I don't mind that pick at all. For if you need a guy from your waiver wire. But and then Laporta, you're playing if you have him, but temper. Tucker Kraft, you're playing him, but temper. I'm a big Kraft truther. I really am, especially after the Reed injury and Christian Watson. I don't care when he comes back. There's no way they're going to rush him back. I don't think he comes back when they plan on him to. I don't think it'll happen. But Tucker Kraft I like a lot for the season. I don't mind playing either defense. I'd rather play the Lions defense for sure. I don't care that they don't have Aaron Glenn. They're fully healthy entering the year. With Hutchinson is back. Might take a little bit of time for him to get back into form, but I like him. Houston and the Rams. Stroud, no. Stafford, no. Chubb, no. Kyron. You're playing him, but shit. Better temper your expectations. Nico and Puka and Adams, you're playing them all, but temper. Both offensive lines are not that good. Both defensive lines are pretty good. Both defenses are pretty good. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, lower than what people think. Like you're gonna play them because of how great they are. Nico, Puka, and Devontae, they're all great wideouts in real life. Stafford is healthy entering week 1, but I just think it'll be a low-scoring game. And I think a couple of them will probably... I think 2 of the 4 between Kyron, Nico, Puka, and Adams are going to disappoint you. And the other 2 will return value, but I don't think they're going to do much more than that. Could be wrong. Could be a broken play, but I'm not banking on it. Any tight end? Nope. Defense? I wouldn't have an issue if you played either of them. I'd rather play the Rams. Yeah, Houston's a iffy call. There are probably other teams on the waiver wire that have a better matchup on paper. But all right, we got 2 more: Baltimore and Buffalo. Lamar, Allen, yup. Henry, James Cook, yup. Zay Flowers, Bateman, Shakir, Coleman, Josh Palmer. No to all 5 of them. Only one I would consider playing would be Josh Palmer. Shakir's banged up. Coleman's banged up. Actually. Okay, he's back at practice now, but it was an ankle injury. You're only playing Shakir in a full point PPR. If not, I'd rather have Palmer over Shakir. Especially after the Coleman injury. Groin, yeah, it's just... Don't know if he'll play. Week 1. Like why... yeah, it is a big game, but why rush him back when you don't really have to? You have Palmer to play on the outside. So I don't think Coleman will even play. But Palmer I like. He'd be the only one. Zay Flowers is a hit or miss, man. If you have other options, even if you drafted him later, again, I keep saying the same names: Pearsall, Igbuka. Even if you have another tight end, if David Njoku is your tight end too, or Tucker Kraft, I'd play them over Zay because I know what I'm gonna get. Unless your team had a bad start to the week and your opponent has good matchups on paper entering week 1, then sure you're gonna go Flowers, but temper, man. He's very hit or miss. Bateman I'm not playing. Even when they played Buffalo, will it show? No, why not? I thought it would show when they play in the... Let's show here. Nope. Okay. Well, I don't know how he did against Buffalo in the playoff game, but I mean, like you have games like 22, 19, 22, 19, 30. We have too many games where just nothing, like 5.3, 2, 4, 7.4, 5.10. I'm not going to count the Cleveland game. They didn't even need him out there. But hit or miss. Probably going to play him, but I'd prefer not to. I'd rather have other guys drafted later. Ted McMillan. I feel like Ted was usually going before Zay Flowers anyway. So Ted doesn't count. But yeah, tough for any of them. Mark Andrews, yep, all day long. Especially with Likely probably not playing. And Kincaid, I'm not playing. I just don't trust any guy other than Allen and James Cook on that team. Defenses, not playing either of them. Final game of the week. The Vikings and Chicago Bears. Temper your expectations here. Like, yeah, you're excited about Swift being the main guy, but they are trying to give DJ Moore touches in the backfield, which will take away Swift. And if DJ Moore ends up getting touches in the backfield, I feel like that ends up only helping out Rome. Like, Rome, I would play. Of course, the guy I'm playing has Rome. I don't even know if he has him starting, but whatever. Like, I like Caleb, I like JJ for the year, but week 1... I would only play JJ McCarthy. Well, it's tough. It's a Monday night game, so if you have other options, find them. Like, I'd rather have T. Law, Bryce Young, Danny Dimes over both of them for week 1. But only because Jalen Johnson for Chicago is injured right now. He might play the game, might not. If he does, then I wouldn't play McCarthy. But if he doesn't end up playing, then entering the game, you're going to wish you played McCarthy. But I just don't know how if he'll play. I just don't know how the injury is progressing for the recovery. I don't know what'll happen. So, because of the uncertainty, I wouldn't play McCarthy. Jones, Mason, Swift. I mean, you're going to play Jones and Swift probably. If you don't have to, don't. If you don't have to, don't. Too many people in Chicago to feed. Against the Brian Flores defense. No thank you. Aaron Jones. I mean, Chicago was bad against the run. They brought in some talent. They have a DA defense where they're going to be playing a lot of man. So they're going to have guys probably closer to the line of scrimmage. But play him, but don't be shocked if he only ends up getting you 7 to 9. Mason, probably not going to play him. You're going to be banking on a touchdown from one of them. Or for Jalen Johnson to play to cover Justin Jefferson, and that they'll actually get a target or a couple more targets underneath. Than what they would have. JJ, I'm playing, but if Jalen Johnson plays, don't be shocked if JJ ends up getting shut down. I don't think he will. He's too good to get shut down. Like when they played Chicago, 5 for 2 for 27. But then he had 14 for 7 for 73. I don't know if Jalen played this game. I know he did this game because I had JJ on my Dynasty team, and I'm like, well, good thing I'm tanking because I figured that happened. But even though if it's at Chicago, I don't care about that. It doesn't mean much to me. But JJ play, but if Jalen Johnson plays, you better be only down within 4 points to have a good shot at winning. Because they don't have to use him. They can use him as a decoy, even without Addison. Addison not being there will help out for sure. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Thielen actually ended up doing better than JJ. If Jalen Johnson for Chicago ends up playing. So, DJ Moore, Rome Doomsday. I'm playing Rome. DJ Moore, man, I don't know. Like, again, they're going to manufacture touches for him in the backfield. I don't know how valuable they're going to be or where on the field they're going to do that. Too many question marks, too many people to feed. I'd probably bench him. I'd probably bench DJ Moore. I love him as a Bear fan. I really do. But I wouldn't be shocked if Olamide Zaccheaus did better than both of them, if he's our main scorer. Because people are going to be focused on DJ Moore. They're going to be focused on Rome. On our tight end, Loveland, when we have him out there. We have Cole Kmet too, who's a really good tight end. But like Olamide or slot guy, like I like that a lot. Unless the Vikings have like a really good like nickel corner that I'm just unaware of, then Olamide is a really good dart thrower too. But Luther Burton will hardly play. He'll hardly play. He missed too much training camp, like pretty much all of it. So I don't have any faith in him for the whole year really. But Thielen I would play for a dart throw, pardon me. I wouldn't mind that at all. Even if Jalen Justin doesn't play and JJ has a free reign, I think Adam Thielen is more than fine. Especially with Chicago playing a lot more man. Oh, it's tough though. They were like top 3 in the league last year for their back 4, and they are entering the year healthy. I don't know. It's tough. Thielen, I wouldn't mind him for a dart throw, but just to know that he could completely flop. Tight ends, Hawk, I'm not thrilled about. Play him if you need to, but I'd rather not. I'd rather play a guy like Hunter Henry this week. He has a great matchup. Great matchup. I like him more than Hawk. I like him more than Loveland. Kmet, they're gonna eat into each other. Like all Chicago will eat into each other all year long. It's just it'll be the way it goes. So some weeks you'll have more in your lineup and you're gonna hate it, and then you'll put him on the bench and you'll be like, oh, why do you get a touchdown now? Same thing for Rome, I feel. Swift, tight ends, like too tough. Defenses, I'm not playing either of them because of the improvements to the offensive line that each team made on the interior. And the Vikings have their really good run tackle back. So I don't know if he's their left tackle or right tackle, but he's really good in the run blocking game, which is where we struggled at. So yeah, I mean Jones, I guess is actually a play. Jones would be a play, but again, Mason could get the goal line work, and you're like, well, shit. Didn't want that to happen. But defenses I'm not touching, but I think it'll be a low-scoring game. But I just don't know how many turnovers or, sacks will end up happening. But yeah, that's kind of the recap and the weekly review, if you will, for entering week 1. After the door already opened, after Philly and Dallas. And yeah, I'm excited to watch it all play out. There are guys I like that people don't like, guys I don't like that people will like. Do what you got to do for your lineup, but I just don't have faith in guys like Ridley, Courtland Sutton. Don't like either of them. I'm calling my shot that neither of them are going to do good this week. JSN, nope, not touching him. Nico Puka Adams, it's tough, man. Neither team has that good of an offensive line. There was another game. Oh yeah, Pittsburgh Jets should be low scoring game. I don't like anybody from no quarterback, no running back, no wideout, no tight end. Only a defense. Probably the Jets if I had to pick, because Fields should be able to scramble. Aaron Rodgers won't be able to. I mean, I like Boswell, I guess. I feel like they should be able to move the ball a little bit. But who fucking knows, man? Yeah, I don't like anybody from either team. And then, temper your expectations for this game as well. Like, Henderson, I'm not thrilled about for week 1. Genty, I don't like week 1. Jacoby, I'm not thrilled about. Especially because Christian Gonzalez should be on him. Unless they have Myers as the slot guy, which might be a thing. And they have Thornton on the outside, which then I'm not touching him, even for a dart throw. But Diggs, you can play him. But again, how much are they really going to need to use him? The only guy I would actually play would be Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry and Bowers would be the main two I'd be happy to play. I like Genty, but you're going to need him to get catches in the game to kind of make it worth playing him. Like, it might be an ugly, 50-something yards on the ground for 19, carries, and you're going to have to hope for, 6 catches for 30-something yards, but then you'll take it. but you're not going to be happy about it. But yeah, kind of the recap of this week. Hope you all enjoyed. If you have any, comments, leave them underneath. Again, happy to always talk fantasy football with y'all. And yeah, I'm sure I'll make like another video before Sunday games kick off. Like maybe I'll do something for a start stitch video that I kind of talked about in here, but like an actual like more in depth a little bit, or who I would play over certain guys. But yeah, catch y'all later.